Hey, this is Justin Popovich here from Tools for Motivation. Thanks for joining me today. On the other side of my screen, you'll see a good friend of mine, Sheldon from Content Sparks. Sharyn, say hello.
Hello, hello, everybody. So great to be here.
Yeah, this is awesome. So if you've been following me for a while, you've probably seen me hang out with Sharyn in the past. We've done a few of these over the years. And if you're new, then I think you're really going to like this. Sharyn brings a very interesting spin to the table when it comes to done-for-you content, private label rights, or PLR, if you want to call it that. I know, Sharyn, you probably prefer done for you. I do.
Yeah,
It really
I
depends.
prefer it, but it's hard to get away. People that already know the term PLR tend to go that
Yep,
way, but there are plenty of people who've never heard of it before. And then we call it brandable, brandable content, brandable courses,
love
ready to
that.
teach, ready to go. Well, yeah.
Exactly. And if you've seen any of my recent mailers, I was saying that Content Sparks is one of the, if not the go-to platform right now for done for you courses. If you're doing consulting or training, you've probably already been on our site before. So it's just, there's that much information there. So what I want to do today is, first of all, give you a chance to meet Sharyn a little bit, but we're going to showcase one of her current offers. Now, if you happen to be watching this video after that offer is over, not really a big deal, because I know, Sharyn, you do different offers and specials quite frequently. So if people did miss this, I'm sure they'll be able to find another way to maybe preview or sample some of your content. Either way, I think it's going to be useful to kind of watch along here and learn a bit. Sharyn, you and I met, it had to be close to a decade ago or so. So we've both been at this whole PLR brandable content thing for a while, at least in this space. That's a pretty long time. But I remember you and I kind of hit it off because we both have that corporate background. I was a trainer at IBM, literally teaching courses, traveling around and running slide decks and doing all this stuff that basically, in your world, you were one of the people creating the material for someone like me, right? You were an instructional
Exactly.
designer. So if you want to give people watching a bit of a background, just so they know where you're coming from, maybe to start.
Sure. So I've been doing instructional design since it's about 1990, 91, something like that. I can't remember anymore. But I started off in investment banking, actually. So way, way back,
Way back.
and went into the business side, post business school and stuff. But instructional design is a term that I hadn't heard of before. And most people outside of that world have probably never heard of it. Basically, instructional design means you take a look at a company and its problems and whatever the needs are, and analyze it, and then create a solution. So you're designing a solution for whatever that issue is. And that's great. In the corporate world, lots of people have that. It's in the talent development areas, and they have access to a whole team. But at some point, after doing consulting for years and years, I decided I wanted to get out of that corporate world, get out of the consulting world, and be able to work and travel anywhere in the world.
Mhm.
So I went online. Online was all still relatively new. And I discovered this thing called PLR. And you ended up over time morphing it into using my skills in the instructional design to help business coaches, consultants, and others who want to have that same quality that a corporation might have, but they don't have the time, the funds to invest in a whole team. So we became the team that develops those courses. And we focus a lot on the business side, business, marketing, sales, all those things. But we also have some of those personal development, because there's overlap, the professional development courses. So our coaches are taking those and customizing them just like you would with PLR, but at a whole different level. So actually, with you, Justin, the feedback I get from customers is that a lot of people just buy from us because of the quality. And that's probably also why we got along really well. It's the same respect for the
Similar approach.
quality.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the same.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Absolutely. So, yeah. So for those of you watching, I'm sure you're already starting to poke around contentsparks.com. What I was really hoping to do today, Sharon, I kind of mentioned this before we hit record, is talk a little bit about the current deal, but also maybe get some stories from you about some cool case studies, or just customers or clients of yours and what they're doing with this content, because your courses are very rich. There's a lot of option,
Mhm.
and you pack a lot of stuff into this that even if I was looking at one of them the other day, I was thinking if I only use like that one folder in this giant series of folders, I would get a lot of value out of that product. So I imagine you've probably seen dozens of implementations. So maybe if it's okay with you, I think you said you had a screen share ready to go.
Yeah. Yep.
Why don't we
Yep.
pull that up and we can kind of look at your current portfolio and some of the offers there, and maybe we could kick off looking at some of those products if you had any specific examples you wanted to share. Because I know that Tools to Motivation customers naturally love the self-help personal development stuff, but we also do have a lot of, you know, coaches and consultants that are interested in the marketing and business concepts as well. And
Mhm.
even if it's just for personal use to learn, people are getting value from that. So,
Oh, absolutely. That's a lot of our customers do that because they might know the topic already, but there are plenty of people who want to learn the topic and then teach it to their audience. So they become their own case study in those situations. So they'll pick something, maybe a marketing course or like live video marketing, and they want to learn that, but they don't feel comfortable teaching it. And I do recommend that you learn something first before you teach it.
absolutely.
Otherwise people will see right through that. So what we did for your particular offer was take a lot of those professional development courses and make them all options for a bundle. Um, and you can see, if you can just go to the sales page to see a lot of that, but you can see the list of different ones in here, that a lot of them are those personal development, so success mindset, but we've made it for entrepreneurs. So with that bent, because I know you have stuff as well. So we have a different angle to it. And remember that if you might have something on success mindset that was created by someone else that has a different angle,
Yep.
then this is for entrepreneurs. You don't need only one. In fact, you want to be covering topics more than once from different angles, because someone learned something last year, they've forgotten it by this year, and you
Yep.
want to be able to reinforce it. So
I
there.
often tell people to create an assets folder on their hard drive, content assets, and store it
Mhm.
and sort it by folder name, which is a specific topic. So it could be success mindset, and inside of there would be multiple subfolders from different vendors like yourself, like my company, and others as well. And then you can pull out of it, even if you want to stitch different things together, then you're at the end of the day, it's something completely unique because now you've blended this stuff together, which I love.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And
And
what
it's
we
funny
try to.
that step out of your comfort zone is there, because that was my very first product ever. It
Oh,
was about
really?
comfort zones. Yeah. Getting out of your comfort zone. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a popular one. It's a really popular one, and it never goes out of style ever.
No.
I just moved. I just moved from New Jersey to Colorado. I'm totally out of my comfort zone here,
Yeah. That's a big move. Good
but
for
it's
you though.
fun.
That's exciting.
It is exciting. It also snowed last night on our way back, and
I
we
heard
had to
about
drive
that.
back through a snowstorm in the middle of April. So, yeah, going through, you'll see some common topics, but they'll have a different angle to them. So they're focused more business related, but always customizable. So we always try and make it so that it's for smaller business owners and entrepreneurs, but you can customize it to different audiences. And we also try and make sure that everything always goes together. So rather than seeing a course that's just one off, we make it so that they're modular. So it can stand on its own, but then you can also add. And that's the whole key with adding and building a curriculum.
Right.
And if there's anything in here you want me to actually pull out and talk about, like action-based coaching skills is brand new. We literally just released that,
I
I
love
think
that title.
last month. It is. So we put together our own model on that we called action-based coaching. So
Could we
it's not
take a
just.
look at that one?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So on any of these, there's a little
Yeah. The
arrow and
arrow
box
there.
next to it that you can click on. There's a list below, but this is the quickest way to get to it. So I would just open it up, and then it opens in a new tab, so you can always go back to the other one like
Yeah.
that.
That's perfect.
So this one, I might even open up the folder if we had time, but we don't want to spend too much time here. So this goes through your kind of the typical stuff you'd always want to do in every course, which is getting people to clarify who their target market is and their niche, really focusing, thinking about where coaching would fit into your business, where you need to develop certain skills, And then it goes through things like practicing the core coaching skills, action-based coaching skills. And then it teaches a process for actually running a coaching business, or coaching session. So things like a pre-session where you'd agree assumptions or what's actually included and what the expectations are, so that you're on the same page. And then a series of sessions where you'd go through the coaching model, the action-based coaching model, so that with an agenda and everything. So it really takes people through how to be an action-based coach, meaning people are going to take action when they're done with each session. And then what you do, what the important things are to build a successful coach-client relationship. So you'll see on pages like this that there's this coaching skills roadmap. That's the course roadmap with the high-level modules. And then finally, they do a little bit of planning on how to attract and keep clients. But this one isn't a marketing course, but it fits well with any of the other marketing courses. So you can
Right.
create a whole curriculum around that, because you're not going to just create a course on how someone should be a coach and coaching skills. Then they're just going to take that and they're going to leave. What you want is, and this is what most of our really successful customers do, is they build that curriculum. So they'll have something small, maybe like a course on how to create your ideal customer profile or how to pick your market niche, and then move into something else. And you just want a theme around that curriculum. That's how you're going to design your own series of training. Call it an online academy, call it a training series. It could be a longer weekend. There's lots of things you can call it, whatever you want. But the idea is you're going to have a theme and you're going to fit together whatever your audience needs. So that's why that defining your audience, we always put in a lot of these courses to make sure that you're thinking about that. So what else shall I show you on here? There are
I'll mention
modules.
here as you go through this that we're customers of Sharyn at Tools to Motivation. We've purchased several of her programs, and we pull out different pieces from the guides and from the training manuals and kind of tweak them for our needs. And then, like, for example, one of them I think was about affiliate marketing. I think you remember, I showed you that one.
Yep.
And so you had a really nice, it was a guidebook kind of walking people through the key things they needed to know if they were new to affiliate marketing. And I blended that with a private training I did personally with my own personal tips about what works well for me as an affiliate marketer when I generate revenue as an affiliate. And I just blended those two together, and I had a unique product, but I didn't have to write anything. Like, writing a guide would have taken me weeks. But I was just like, oh, Content Sparks already has one. We read through it. I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what we would have said anyways. So we just added our branding to it, blended my video, and we had this completely unique product that we were selling for $37 a pop. We made a bunch of sales on it. So it was
And
great.
actually, one thing I should point out on ours is a lot of people do leave it as is and just add
Yeah,
their branding. And the way they customize it is by adding in other pieces from their own content.
right.
So they might have action-based coaching skills and then have something else. I don't know, I can't think of something, a mindset thing or their own little model that they teach, or usually they're adding on something more personal, like some group coaching to go with it. That's the most popular thing to do. And that's where you get the best results from any of the training.
Yeah, or
Is you have that.
niche specific. Like, I know people that help personal trainers now, especially in today's world. They're not necessarily doing in-person personal training anymore. They got to move to Zoom, virtual, and coaching models. So
Yep,
there are people who are actually making money showing all those personal trainers how to transfer those skills to online programs, so that they
exactly.
would need to have fitness related anecdotes in that product.
Or they'd add in also any kind of tech training
Yeah,
to it. So you add in your examples that are unique to your audience. And then in something like that, you might add in your own little video tutorial on how to use Zoom to do your coaching sessions. And that doesn't take long. And it's something really you want to create yourself,
exactly.
because those sorts of tech platforms change all the time. But you can get on a Zoom and demonstrate it really easily and create that as a training. And then you slot that in. So it's making it unique and adding on things, or it's a bonus. And
Yeah,
actually, you know what I was going to show you on here? So on this particular one, I told you there's these models. So there's the ARIA model, which is a one-to-one coaching model. I'm not going to show you that because we'll give it away. But the ABC process, the action-based coaching process, is all the different steps. So you can see we also break the bigger modules down into lessons so that it's not too overwhelming. Responsibilities for coach here. There's a whole list of the materials. Try not to get overwhelmed. This one in particular has a ton of stuff, but like you said, Justin, you don't have to use everything. So some people take like the self-assessment questionnaire and use it as a lead magnet. So if
Exactly.
you want to get people in, maybe you have a Facebook group of some sort, you can have that run a little session like a live stream and then hand that out. And then maybe you have another one where you discuss people's answers. So you can have a whole series right around that. That really works well.
Yeah,
And
actually, could you scroll up for 1 second, just to
mhm.
the beginning of part one there? If you start,
Yeah.
yeah, if you start thinking about, let's say, you've been at the point in your business where you're bootstrapping and you're not really outsourcing, so you're doing a lot of this heavy lifting yourself. Imagine the time to write a 112-page course book and format it and edit it and proofread it, and then do it again with an action guide that's 59 pages long. You're talking like weeks, if not a month of work, while you're
Yeah.
still trying to run your business. I mean, this
Yep.
is, and I used to write a lot of products and like, I don't do it as much now that we've got a bigger company, but I can't even imagine doing all of that work right now. And you're getting it pretty much done for you in a
Mhm.
package that, I mean, you would pay more to outsource a 10 pack of articles really to a
And
good writer.
something you can share is on our blog, we have a series of these Bright Sparks interviews where we did interviews with some of our Bright Sparks, our top customers. And they talked about stuff like that, like how long it would take if they did
Yeah.
it themselves.
Yeah.
And the difference is like 6 months versus a couple weeks, where depending on how much customizing they're doing.
Yeah.
So there's a major time saving there. And these are from people who are some of them are instructional designers themselves,
Yes.
or
Yeah.
that's their background. And they're
Yeah.
saying, oh, thank God, now I don't have to do that part. And they can just do the customizing. So that's actually a good thing. If I can't open it up right now, but if you just went to our blog, so visit the page first, or Justin, if you want to share a link to one of them, it's a whole Bright Sparks interview series. I can give you the link afterwards.
Sure. That sounds great. But yeah,
And
this
what
is a great summary. So if you're watching this, I'd suggest go to one of the products, maybe even pick this one, action-based coaching, and read through all that stuff you're getting, because it's an
whoops.
incredible amount of content. And then start thinking about what it would take you or your team in terms of time and money to replicate something like this, then compared to the cost of a license. And that's where the real value of this kind of stuff comes in.
Yeah, and you don't have to already have an audience that fits it. If it's a skill that you want to teach, that's one of the reasons on these bigger ones we give the lead generation and these opt-in reports in different formats.
Right.
So what some people do is they'll take like this opt-in report's called Are You Ready to Start Coaching? So it's a perfect sort of thing to set up another assessment or a challenge. Actually, the challenges are one of the most popular. So you break it up and you set up a little challenge on Facebook or another group that you're in and invite people to that. You can run a Facebook ad if you're comfortable with that and get people into that challenge. And more of our customers are doing this to start building their audience who they then sell the course to. And because their challenge participants already are in the right mindset, they know by that point that they want to start coaching and they need to work on their coaching skills. And they've already formed a relationship with you. Then it's a natural step to enroll in the course.
Absolutely.
So that's one of the
Absolutely.
biggest things people have been doing.
Quick question for you here on this. So I don't remember, your license allows for certain pieces of this to be given away freely, correct? But I guess you break it down by folder.
So in general, none of it can be published freely on the web. All right. So you don't want to take
Like a
even an
blog
opt-in
post or a
report.
social media post.
That you can publish freely.
Okay.
Absolutely. But you want to keep everything else gated. So
Yeah,
it
like the
needs to,
reports, like the guides and all that. Yeah. So it's
yeah,
got to be behind a paywall, or at the very least, if you have a private email list, you could send a PDF to those subscribers, but it's not, they have to literally be on that list to find this thing.
right. Or it can be a private group that you have. So
Yes.
like that
Right.
private Facebook group, then you would take the report. People take blog posts and use them as live streams and do a series of
Mm,
live streams
right. Right.
all the time. Or they'll take just the slides, because we give the report also in a sort of outline cheat sheet format, and then slideshow. And they'll run a series of webinars. I think the slideshow, oh, it doesn't say how many slides it is, but maybe it's 30 slides. So they'll run a webinar just for their
Right.
Facebook group. But the other thing is, a lot of people use it for existing clients. So if you do already have clients, you can certainly, they're paying clients.
They're already
You can
paying. Yeah.
certainly run it for that. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So, or a membership.
Yeah.
But what you don't
Extra
want to do
value
is just
for,
go taking a program and posting it on your blog, because that's such a waste.
yeah. And
And
it's
it
completely
also
devaluing the
devalues them.
content. See, so the thing that the reason I asked that, I was thinking we just recently ran a pretty successful campaign in our business to sell a monthly membership. So people pay X amount of dollars per month to access a members area. And usually on a promo like that, you need some kind of carrot. You need some kind of reason to run the promo, to start it, to end it. So for us, we had a time block, but we also had some special bonuses that were never available before. Now we had to
Mhm.
create those bonuses, but I've seen customers do the same model where their bonuses were just PLR products branded to them. So it's like, hey, get in on my new coaching program. Seats are open this week. Closing down, if you order by Friday, you're going to get bonus A, B, and C worth, $9.97 or whatever it is. And instead of having to create all those bonuses, they're just pulling stuff right out of your catalog and then
Mhm.
branding it as a course. Again, they're not giving it away for free. It's a paid customer or client accessing this thing, but it's helping you get your conversions way up on a promotion that may not convert as well otherwise.
Yeah, and for those, I would stick to smaller things,
Yeah,
because you're not going to overwhelm somebody with some massive course.
exactly.
And of course, and you have to make sure that it fits with whatever the offer is.
Yeah, yeah. It can't be some random bonus like my
It
healthy guide
happens.
to eating for your financial reporting course. What?
Yeah, well, I guess you could really customize that a bit and
Yeah.
say you need to eat healthy to have your financial brain all working. But yeah, it really has to be, don't just throw in a bunch of bonuses just for the sake of bonuses, or
Yeah.
do it as something where you've created videos so it really is personalized. And that's easy to do with ours because most of them have slides with them. So you just
Yeah.
fire up whatever it is that you use for your slideshows. Make sure you know the stuff first, you've actually read through it, and then you just record your video and break it
Yeah.
up into little ones, which is even better, especially since one, people don't want to watch really long videos, but two, if you mess up, it doesn't take long to do it over again.
Exactly. Yeah. So the one thing I was going to have you point, maybe even demo it, is the way this has been bundled is those check marks
Mhm.
there allow people to pick multiple items, but then you start at the bottom. I noticed it starts counting. So
All right,
if you get to like, what is it?
let's
3.
do it.
Yeah, you get
Let's
like
do it.
it's a cool feature that you've added to your shopping cart there, but it
Yeah.
starts tallying up a discount for you.
So I'm gonna pick success mindset. We know we love step out of your comfort zone. So
Oh
that's
yeah, got to get
2.
that one.
Right? Every time you add, you can scroll down. I know there are a lot in here because we went a little crazy giving options. But so 1 gives you 30% off. 2 to 3 gives you 40% off. And let's add how to teach an online course, because you know I love that. So you're still 40% off. Then add the expansion pack, because a lot of our things have these expansion packs that are much cheaper, but they have a lot of
Extra.
goodies in them.
Yeah.
And now suddenly we're up to
And it bumps to
50% off.
50. Right.
Right,
Right.
so that was 5. And then, oh, project management made easy. Somebody just asked for this. So I added it
Good
in.
program. I remember going through that one.
Yep. That
So
is
I
what,
think that's
4 to
5
5.
now. Yeah.
That's 5 is still 50% off. And let's see, what should we add? Oh, yeah, everybody
I
loves
love emotional
emotional
intelligence.
intelligence.
Great
You know you
topic.
do.
Great
And
topic.
now we're at 60% off.
Yeah.
So already
Yeah.
something that would be 582 is only 232. And then if really start putting together a theme in there, like going above and beyond for people. Um, a lot of people really want to get the book onto Amazon and write a book. So there's an expansion pack for that. Let's see what we got. Now we're already up to 409, and it would have been 1,000. So you're saving over $600. What else do we
Yeah.
have?
And
Oh,
again,
I
as you're
love
going
this
through
one, by the
this,
way. Know your
you're,
why, really popular.
I love that topic. And you can kind of do an audit as you're adding these, because Sharyn showed you one of the bigger ones that had like that giant 3-part list of content. So every time you click this, you're getting another giant folder that you're going to be downloading to your hard drive or to your assets folder, or wherever you're storing this stuff. That again, you have to take some time to think about, okay, what would it actually take to either do this myself, hire a ghostwriter and an editor, and usually those are 2 different roles.
Yep.
So you're looking at, thousands, but the number of check marks you put there, Sharyn, probably 5 figures when you really add up all the people that it would take to build that kind of stuff and the amount of time.
Oh,
So you're
I can tell
really,
you what it costs. Whoops. I'm
yeah,
making
I
noise here.
imagine your courses are not cheap to build.
No, if you were going to hire someone like a consultant to put together a training program for you, it typically runs around $200 an hour. And depending on the size of the program, you can easily be spending 10,000 or more to have one program created for you,
Right.
depending on the length of the course.
Now, the
And
trade-off is it's a unique course to you and your brand, so you don't have to make any
yes.
changes. The downside is you're down 10 grand before you've even sold one copy of whatever it is you plan to do with this thing.
Well, and often when we were doing them, we were using existing courses, either
Mm-hmm.
courses in our own library as a consulting firm, or materials, and mixing it with materials that the customer already
Gotcha.
had. So it's
Gotcha.
not usually starting from scratch. Almost nothing starts from scratch.
It
If
comes
you're
from a
going to do
template.
sales skills training or coaching skills, there's no such thing as from scratch.
Right.
Everything's
Right.
out there, but it requires doing research, seeing what the latest trends are,
Yeah.
what makes sense, making it all fit together, adding in what's a good learning experience and action steps for people to take, all of that. There's a lot of involvement. And yes, ghostwriting, a ghostwriter can't do this. We use a writer to do things like blog posts, but they can't do the actual training materials because
Right.
it's a different skill set.
You
You
need,
need
you need experience.
yeah.
Right.
Exactly. And then an editor is a whole different thing.
Oh yeah. They think completely differently. Actually, if you scroll up to the one, I think it was business overwhelm, that
Oh,
reminded me
yeah.
of something that if anybody gets this far into the video,
Yep.
which will
There we
be
go.
a relatively small percentage of viewers, but eliminate business overwhelm. I don't know if you know, if you remember this, Sharyn. I think it was a year and a half ago or so. I partnered up with another business partner of mine. You know him, Chad Fullerton.
Hmm.
And what him and I did was we took a copy of this exact course. I'm not sure if you remember this. And we took the outline of it. So we didn't even read through the giant, like hundreds of pages of content. We just took literally the chapter outlines.
Maybe I
And
can
we kind
share.
of, I think there was 8 chapters or 6, whatever it was. And we pulled out what was like the 2 or 3 key ideas from each chapter. We put them on a whiteboard behind us in a boardroom. He has like one of those shared office spaces. He owns this building.
Mm-hmm.
And we just literally filmed 8 training videos based on your chapter outlines. All we needed was just like a couple of talking points. We looked up and then we looked into the camera and we just got going. And it was just telling our own stories and giving our own advice about a process we went through to deal with business overwhelm. Like you could have overwhelm from customer complaints. You could have overwhelm from like accounting and bookkeeping and techie stuff. It could be accounting from management and like team members. There's like all these different scenarios. And I didn't even know what my content was going to be. And here we were shooting a video course just based on your outline. To me, it was like an amazing, but also simple example of how you can make something completely unique using a brandable course as your platform. So if you are watching this and you got this far into the video and you want to see my behind the scenes training of that, hit up our help desk at Tools for Motivation. I'll send you a copy because it was super interesting the way we put that together. And it came together, and I think it was a 2.5-hour Saturday afternoon meeting that we did, and we finished the whole video course. It was great.
Actually, I'm going to show you one thing. I know we're running out of time here, but
Yeah,
you
we've
mentioned
got time.
that outline. So I'm going to open up, see if I can do this. This is actually not something available right now. It's something it's coming out on Thursday.
Okay.
Content design. So content design essentials. So this is what a cheat sheet looks like. Here, let me put it into a different view. Can you see this?
Yeah, yeah,
All right. So this is the kind of view that you get, this outline where you have just bullet points and learning objectives, and then the learning objective for each one, the different steps, and then action steps at the end. So each module gets something like this. It's really quick. And you can do something like what you did, which is work from the cheat sheet, but also if you're doing something larger and it has videos, you can have these as you brand them and then you break them up. And
yeah,
then at the end of each one, so people have a summary. So they don't have to go back and try and scroll through the video. So you don't really have to use the course book part at all. You can do the video and just have these as the summary so people can refer back to what they were doing. So some people do that. They just use the
yeah.
slides and the cheat sheet and the action guide because you want the worksheets and stuff too. So
Yeah,
that's another
that's a
thing.
great idea, especially in this day and age. People are impatient. They'd almost, I could see somebody that wants to dive deep, but they would start at this level to decide, do I want to go deep with this or not? And they'll start there, maybe watch a couple of the videos, and then they'll think, okay, this is useful. I'm going to go through the whole thing now. I
Yeah.
do that. Like I'll preview somebody's podcast or whatever, and then it's like, yeah, I want to dive into this. So then I'll go through the whole video course or something like that. So it's a
Yep.
great preview tool.
Or if you're testing it out and don't know exactly what you want to customize yet,
Yeah.
you can start with the slides and teach the course just from the slides and then get feedback and see what you need to customize before you go on to the next step and teach it again, because you want to do it multiple times. So you can put it up as a self-study.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's always on any kind of course platform, but then a good way to start is to do it live, even if it's a very small group, like a beta
Exactly.
test.
Yeah, because people, I see this all the time. People try to develop the ultimate course with every feature and every possible thing they've learned about this topic so they can share it with everyone and change the world. It's like, that's not really how these things deploy. They deploy by picking a couple things to cover, putting it out there, get 5, 6, 10 students in a room, deliver it, see what their feedback was, evolve, go to version 2, 3, and 4, and eventually get to that, maybe that end goal that you want. But if you're just developing, never launching anything, that's how people go out of business. That's why we see so many people starting an online business or trying to take an existing business, move it online, that doesn't work because they get stuck, they get caught up in this just planning, the perpetual planning and never launching. You got to launch and prepare for it to have some problems, fix the problems, and evolve, which is, I think, what you were saying here, Sharyn, is like probably one of the best ways you could use PLR or brandable content, especially the Content Spark stuff, because it's ready to go. You just add your voice to it.
Yeah, and you want to start with something small, unless you
Yeah.
really know that you have people waiting for that
Yeah.
specifically. I've made this mistake myself. You have a
Same.
great idea of a big course and I've developed it from scratch and launched it and everything, and then it's crickets. Not because people just aren't seeing it, but because it wasn't really what they wanted. It
Yeah.
was what I thought they wanted or what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And then you're starting all over again, and you can try and rescue it in different ways, but you've wasted so much time. Whereas if you start, you find out what people want, you start with something initial at that beta version or before, and then you take it from there, then you know, and you can be really confident you know what people want and that it's going to do well. And
Yeah.
and everything goes through
A life
iterations where you're
cycle.
refining it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Every time. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks,
What
Sharyn. This
else
has
was
been
I
really
going
good. I hope people watching got some value from it. I know we always get good feedback when we have you on, so definitely appreciate your time. I guess you have on the website, there is either a help desk or a contact link there. I'm just looking it
Yep.
up.
Here it is. It's support at
Support.
contentsparks.com.
Yeah, so just hit up Sharyn if you have any questions about this. Obviously, we're supporting Sharyn's. She's basically put a private deal here for this particular video, but in general, if you're finding Content Sparks through Tools for Motivation, and you want to ask us that, we're standing by as well. We're more than happy to support. And Sharyn and I chat often, so we can definitely get you in touch. Anything final to add here before we close off?
What's the link? Your link to the page, your
Oh,
affiliate link for your offer.
yeah, it'll be
for the offer we created. You should.
It'll be on the page I'm hosting this video. There'll be several of them. We'll have the link. So you just look above or below the video. click it, head over and start building your curriculum. And there's also a bonus. So if you happen to be watching it at the time or doing this promotion, we have a pretty huge bonus that we've tacked onto this as well, which almost going against Sharon's advice, we're overwhelming you, but you'll be able to use it. So you can ask us for help if you do get stuck.
No, that is such an amazing bonus. So you definitely want to click on any of those links, explore that page that I showed. If you have any questions, let us know, because I know it can be overwhelming. There are a lot of choices there. You have a couple days, what is it, until
Yep.
Friday
Several
night, so
days.
that
Yep.
you can add things and change up what you want. Another thing you might do that some customers do is create a mind map. So you put in which ones you want and you can see how they're going to fit together. So just one bonus tip there
Yeah. Love
that you
that
can
idea.
do.
Mind mapping is
And
great.
then, yeah, and then think about one thing you can get started with right away, whether it's just pulling out a blog post
Mm-hmm.
or one of the cheat sheets or taking something and running a quick challenge for a group you already have. Just start with one thing and then
Great piece
take
of
it from
advice.
there. And your whole business will just snowball. It'll just get
Absolutely.
bigger and bigger. Yeah.
That's how you and I got started.
Yeah.
And we just kept doing the same, doing more and more of that over. And here we are, whatever number of years later. Just start with something and build, just like we've
Yep.
said a few times. Great. Thanks again, Sharon.
Exactly.
Hope everybody
Thank
got
you.
value that was watching. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you again soon.
Yep. Take care, everyone.